Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, LeVar Burton and his daughter Mika Burton appeared on The View. Now, this is, I think, the third time actors from Star Trek Picard have been on The View to promote the show this season, which seems a bit odd considering that The View is on ABC, which is owned by Disney, who, of course, owns the rival science fiction franchise Star Wars. So I'm kind of surprised. It's because Whoopi was on the show last season. She was on The Next Generation, so she's kind of pushing to have them on the show, which is interesting. But they started off a fairly usual sort of, interview. They asked what it was like working with his daughter, and he said how amazing she was and brilliant she was and how she's got it, and just a lot of dad stuff, bragging about your daughter and thinking she's amazing, because like all parents do. Then it was kind of strange because Whoopi and LeVar act like they're great friends, but yet Mika hadn't seen her in 30 years. And some blanket that she gave her when she was a kid, she basically held on to that and just had little scraps of it, and she was talking about that. I'm sorry, isn't this someone you know? Why would you be holding on to something like there's some celebrity that you're never going to see again or something? It was really weird. And then Sarah asked him the fairly innocent question about Geordie being unlucky in love and, how that changed this season or whatever. And he went on to say, yes, I have a daughter and children and everything. And she sort of asked how that happened. He said, well, I went to Terry Matalis, and Terry Matalis asked me, if there was anything I wanted to change about the character or what I wanted to do with the character. He said I wanted him to have healthy relationships with women. And when they asked about that, he went straight into made it racial and was like, well, I think the white writing staff, was basically racist, and they saw an issue with me or had some issue with me, so they had to make me dysfunctional with women. It was some sort of thing about a black male with women they didn't like, so they had to make me dysfunctional with women. I'm like, wow, he just threw the white writing staff under the bus for something which I thought was quite endearing, that he was sort of hopeless with women and that. And it seemed to go against the stereotype of the sort of Lothario or the black man that's like, a ladies' man, because there is sort of that stereotype that, black men are good with women, and, once you go black, you never go back and all that sort of stuff. And the fact they didn't do that, they did something different, I actually always thought was interesting, rather than him just being, another studly, stereotypical black guy walking around having all the women chasing him. He didn't have that sort of relationship with women. So I found it bizarre that he was bothered by that and made it racial and made it about race, that it was racism that motivated them to create that character trait or that flaw and or that dysfunction or whatever. And I just thought it was really strange that he went there with that. And he sort of, like I said, he mentioned that Terry Matalis asked him what he wanted to do, and he said, I want him to have a healthy relationship with women. And I'm like, I'm sorry, do you not remember that in All Good Things you had a wife and kids, the very kids that are on the show now? Who wrote that? Oh, the white men you just called a bunch of racists. They gave you a healthy relationship eventually with a woman and children, and exactly what Terry didn't give you anything you didn't already have, that wasn't already in there, that the white writers already did. So I just found it really weird that he threw them under the bus and made it racial when it really was, it doesn't seem to be anything to do with race. It's really bizarre. So that was strange, and I didn't see that coming. But the rest of the interview was fairly ordinary. They just talked about, working on the show, and just usual stuff. And that was sort of it. So that was the one sort of, not highlight, but the sort of weird thing about the interview that I sort of noticed. And the rest was just how he was praising his daughter like she's amazing, which of course most parents do, but you'd think you'd be a little bit less obvious about it, because everyone thinks their daughter's the most talented or the most brilliant or whatever and so forth. But she's not that great an actress. I've only seen her in one episode. The other daughter, who isn't LeVar's daughter, who got there because she can actually act, not because of nepotism, who has a bigger role, has done a much better job. So, okay, she's only been in one episode and a couple of scenes, so maybe she can act, but she doesn't seem that great. So I'm not quite sure what he's going on about, except it's his daughter, so of course. So yeah, nepotism and you know, I don't know what to call when parents think their kids are the best. I don't know what the name for that is, but yeah. So it was kind of an odd interview, I felt, but yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about that for a second because I'm like, really, you're throwing the white writing staff under the bus for something which I don't think it has anything to do with race, and then crediting this new writing staff with doing something that they already did, and they already gave you that relationship and those children and that in the future. So it's just really weird. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm so tired. I'm falling asleep right now. Bye.